Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Changer Conference. A conference about the Game Changer project, a social sports project by the Olympic and Paralympic Committee of the Netherlands. A project about the integration and inclusion of people with an impairment in the Japanese society. And as such, a project that directly contributes to the legacy of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games. My name is Herbert Wolf. I'm Director International Relations of the Olympic and Paralympic Committee of the Netherlands, and I have the honor to be your host today for this conference. This conference is a really, truly international conference. It's a conference with listeners and viewers from all over the world, and also with guests in a studio here in the Netherlands at the TMNL Tokyo Expo, and also guests in the studio in Japan at the residence of the Netherlands ambassador to Tokyo, to Japan. So all across the globe we are watching and talking today about the Game Changer project. Please allow me to first introduce my guests here at the studio in the Netherlands at Papendal, and at a later stage I will introduce to you also the guests in Japan and Tokyo. On my right side is Gerard Dielissen, Secretary General of the Olympic and Paralympic Committee of the Netherlands, and also the initiator and a strong advocate for the social inclusion projects of the Dutch NOC. Gerard, welcome.
Thank you, Herbert.
Thank you. And on my left side, Gert-Jan, a Paralympic athlete who already took part in one of the workshops of the Game Changer project in Tokyo.
Thank you.
Gert-Jan, welcome. Good to see you. Gerard, I would like to start with you today. You, as the Secretary General of the Dutch Olympic and Paralympic Committee, started this initiative. You already had, or the NOC already had a project in Rio and now also in Tokyo. Why has the Dutch NOC started this initiative?
Well, Herbert, I think it's all about the Olympic values. We started after the Games in London in 2012, and wow, we won a lot of medals in London.
Right.
And we said to each other, well, it's also a matter not only to win medals in a host city, to get medals, but to bring something to the host city, to the public and to the people of the country where the games are organized. So that was the main reason. It's about social inclusion. It's about doing things together. It's about respect and so on. That was the main reason, and I think we are very successful. So we did Rio, and now we have the Game Changer project in Japan, and maybe for later in this chat we are thinking about what we can do in Paris.
Right, right. You just talked about Rio. What was the goal of the project in Rio?
Well, together with the government in Rio, with the city, we spoke. I think we started our negotiations in 2013. What we can do together, and in the end, we took the decision to start a project in the favelas, to bring our athletes to the favelas, to 3 schools. With poor children, of course, with drop-out children and so on. And we brought our athletes over there to inspire them what you can achieve with sport. And I think it was very successful, and we ended this GEO project, so-called GEO project, during the Games in Rio in 2016 with our minister. She came there and she took part also of what we did, and I think it was a successful project in Rio.
Great, great.
Yeah.
And then after the Rio Games you started the Tokyo project.
Yeah.
What is the goal of that project?
Well, that's a good story because Japan is a well-organized country, of course, and well-developed also. So we started our talks in Japan with Japanese Olympic Committee and with Japanese Sports Council, and they asked us, what can you do for us for Paralympic people, Paralympic athletes, for people with an impairment, because they have a lack of knowledge about people with an impairment. So we started a project. After all, we spoke, I think, half a year or something like that, and then we started a project with three municipalities,
right.
in Japan, and we did the same thing. We brought our athletes, Paralympic athletes, to Japan to inspire school children. Hey, you can see the photos right now. And they gave workshops and so on. And well, it was a difficult year because of COVID. So we did something, some projects online, of course. And now we made the decision to go on until next spring. So I hope we can finalize the project in a good way, of course. Yeah.
Perfect, right. So despite COVID, you were able to continue the project.
Very important.
That's great. What do you think, why is it so important for a host city of the Olympic and Paralympic Games to have such a project?
Well, as you know, the games, the Paralympic Games and the Olympic Games, they want to have a strong legacy in the city, in the country, and so on. And I hope we can contribute to that legacy with those projects. And I think we are quite unique. I spoke in the last couple of years with many NOCs, with many National Olympic Committees, and I never heard that there are Olympic committees who are doing the same for such a long time, maybe for 2 weeks or a week something, but not for many years. So I spoke also about this initiative with the International Olympic Committee, and they are very enthusiastic about what we are doing. So it's a contribution to the legacy of the Games, and I think well, it's an obligation for us. So that's the way we look to it. Yeah.
Right. So through these projects, you directly contribute to the legacy of the Games and the city itself. That sounds great. And I understood you right, that the Dutch NOC is the only NOC right now is doing a project for such a long time?
Yeah, that's what I hear. I'm not quite sure, of course, because there are 205, 206 NOCs, so you don't know them all, but what I hear from the IOC is that we are we are unique and the only NOC who is organizing those kinds of projects. Yeah.
Right. And you just mentioned Paris already.
Yeah.
Do you expect there will be also a kind of game changer project in Paris?
I hope so, of course. But Paris, it's now in less than 3 years because of the COVID pandemic and the situation we are facing. We have to face with, but we are speaking with our embassy. That's what we always are doing. Also in Japan, the embassy and the ambassador and the staff are very important for organizing such a project. And well, we spoke with the embassy and with the ambassador in Paris, and they have contact also with the authorities in Paris, and we are looking for a project maybe in banlieues or something like that. Right. But I hope we can take a decision for the end of this year, and then well, we can announce that we are going on with this social inclusion project.
Great, sounds interesting. Thank you. Gert, thank you so much for this insight and for this this update on the Game Changer project, and I would say good luck for a Game Changer project in Paris. Yeah, I hope it will happen.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, Gert. Now I would like to switch for the first time to Tokyo, and I would like to welcome Rita van Driel. Rita, good afternoon. Rita, you are I think not in the studio at the residence of the Dutch ambassador, but you're in a hotel room. Can you explain why are you there?
Yes, hello everybody. I arrived yesterday in Tokyo, but and I'm still in my hotel because I have to go in quarantine for the first 3 days. So luckily, not only in my room, but I can stay in the hotel. So it's a bit better than I expected.
Perfect. And we all with you, Rita, so you're not alone in your hotel room. Rita, you're a member of the board of the International Paralympic Committee, so you will be at the Paralympic Games the whole period. What can we expect from the Paralympic Games in Tokyo?
Well, preparations go really well, and especially because we have the learnings from the Olympic Games, our test event, of course, and that will help us to do even better for our athletes. But we as IPC call these games maybe the most important games, because not only for Japan, but worldwide, and in particular for the 1.2 billion people with disabilities who make 15% of the global population. And today at 7 o'clock, the Japan time, we started the We the 15 campaign. And it's very interesting because the next 24 hours, 150 buildings around the world will be lit 15% purple, so to start the campaign. So we hope it will bring us a lot, and we expect a lot from the Paralympic Games as well.
Great, that sounds great. So watch out for these purple-colored buildings. Rita,
today also the Tokyo Tower and the Rainbow Bridge tonight will be purple.
Great, perfect, perfect. Rita, you're not only a board member of the International Paralympic Committee, but you also have been very much involved in the Game Changer project right from the beginning. And may I say that you have been quite crucial for the success of the Game Changer project. So therefore, I would like to ask you to tell us more about the project, how it has been done, who the partners are, what way you have worked with the Japanese partners. So Rita, tell us more about it. I heard you have made a presentation for this. Rita, the floor is yours.
Thanks. Yes, since Tokyo won the right to stage the Games in 2013, the organizing committee understood already that the Paralympic Games could be a catalyst for change in Japan. So they especially wanted the Paralympic Games to leave a legacy for society. And by saying that, Japan really wanted to learn from countries such as the Netherlands. And different organizations in Japan approached the Dutch embassy at that time with questions about sport for people with disabilities in the Netherlands. And it was Ambassador Rading van Vollenhoven who reached out to NOC NSF in 2014 with questions about this. And that's how since then I was involved in this. And the first result of which became a very close cooperation with the embassy was an event with wheelchair basketball players from the Netherlands and from Japan, when Prime Minister Rutte was in Tokyo to meet his colleague, Mr. Abe. So I was not surprised at all. Sorry, it's going well. Do the clicker work or not?
We can't see your presentation.
I am at slide 3 now, but I don't see it moving. Yes, now it works. So I was not surprised at all when NOC NSF reached out to Tokyo about a topic for this project, as Mr. Dielis explained, that social change through parasport was the result. And with the Japan Sport Council, JSC as our counterpart to work with, and the 3 selected municipalities, we started to define the project. And an interesting interactive workshop was held where I could share my knowledge and experience from the past 25 years. And so we worked alongside to define the project. And one of the first steps was to define each other's roles and responsibilities. And in the end, we found a good way to explain. So if you see what you see on the picture is that the municipalities are steering their own project. NOC NSF is fueling the project with knowledge and experience, and JSC makes sure we stay on track, and the Japanese Paralympic Support Center supports where necessary. So when the outline of the project was clear, we were ready for the kickoff in October 2017 with the 3 mayors of the municipalities, JSC, and we did that at the Dutch embassy. The outline of the project is based upon 3 pillars. We want to create awareness about inclusion through sport. We create opportunities to participate in sport, and we create structure within the municipality. Yeah. And so from 2017 on, we delivered the project by organizing workshops in Tokyo until November 2019, and since then online due to the COVID restrictions. And also twice a delegation from the municipalities and JSC was visiting the Netherlands for a workshop to see the examples I'm referring to in the Dutch context. The one-week workshops in Japan always start with a combined kickoff meeting at the offices of JSC to discuss what has been done since the last workshop and what we are going to do in the upcoming workshop. And as a project manager, I am always in the lead for the content, and based on the program, I bring experts or Paralympic medal winners from the Netherlands with me. The role of JSC especially Jun Kubota has been crucial during the whole project period, because he is our linking pin to the municipalities to communicate and to prepare the workshops, but also to keep the project running in between the workshops. And during the workshops, we work on all 3 pillars. Here we see Kelly van Zon, our 2 times Paralympic champion in table tennis, who joined me the first visit. And it was really wonderful to see the change in thinking during the week, from watching a person with an impairment playing table tennis to enjoy a very good table tennis player challenging the vice mayor of Adachi-ku, professional players in Nishitokyo, juniors for the Japanese national team, and school directors. So her story about how she grew up in the Netherlands like any other child was very impressive for the school kids and others. And Kelly is here. She will defend her title next week. So bringing Paralympic champions like Marlene van Gansewinkel on this picture to hear her story, to be able to run with her, to give her high fives is amazing. But touching her silver medal from Rio was really massive for the children. The kids will never forget these experiences. And also Marlene is here and will participate in the 100 meter, 200 meter and long jump. Bringing kids from regular schools, special needs schools, and special support schools together during the workshops and play sport together is what this is all about. Inclusion. Get to know each other, respect each other, learn from each other, and have fun together. This is for sure an experience that will change attitudes. Except from bringing the content together, my role is also to reflect on and to explain what is going on during every activity. Why we do things as we do, how this connects to the project, and what is the difference between the Japanese and the Dutch way of thinking and doing. Therefore, it's great that municipalities make videos, etc., to be able to share what we are doing and what they are learning with a bigger audience. In each workshop, we also work with leaders, volunteers, and policymakers, not only from sport, but also from welfare and education. Here we brought pictures where people with and without impairment are playing sport together. We gave the participants tasks to think and to discuss based on what they see. And it was a very good experience to bring people with different backgrounds together to learn from each other. Sharing knowledge is, of course, an important part of the project. And here different roundtable discussions were hosted about several topics. And I must say it's very impressive to see how the knowledge is translated and implemented in the Japanese context. Be creative has become the motto during the whole project period. I believe this has been a huge learning experience for everybody, especially because this doesn't easily fit into the Japanese way of working and thinking. That you can also play korfball with a volleyball or a football. That a boy without arms can play volleyball with a lighter ball and his head and shoulders. That you can make things more easy to add cardboard to a table tennis table. Or to use a sieve from the kitchen to make catching a ball more easy. A great learning experience and lots of fun. It's very important to learn from everything we do. And that's why every activity, no matter what it is or with whom, is evaluated. The Japanese participants are very serious about this, which is great. And that is something we can learn from in the Netherlands. One of the pillars of the Game Changer project is to create structure within the municipality. The structure will support people with impairments to find an activity that fits their ability. And the structure will also support activities or programs to find participants. The key is in the middle. There is somebody, a sports concierge, that brings the questions and answers together. This structure is based on what we have created in the Netherlands since 15 years. To be able to further develop the structure in the different municipalities, it was necessary to involve people with impairments in the next steps. But that was a very difficult hurdle to take. During the workshops, I mentioned again and again to start to talk and ask with people with impairments what they want. But it was difficult. Yes, but where do we find them? Yes, but what shall I say? And imagine that I say something wrong or I do something wrong. But I pushed it at a certain moment by saying that I expected people with impairments to be present in the next workshop. And I believe that was a game changer in itself. The opportunity to interact with each other was great for everyone. And for me, the evening I took this picture was one of the best moments of the project for me. And the base of creating the structure, sorry, that's one. Oh. The base of creating the structure is to interact with persons with a disability, to understand their needs and expectations. But that's why I wanted them to be a part of the project, but to have a good conversation with each other and not just filling a checklist is not easy. So to give the sports concierges more confidence, we practiced with each other. That was what this slide. It's also impressive to see how the structure developed in each municipality. Step by step, they create a structure where people who want to play sport will find their way. So it's very good that to see how it works. I believe we have delivered on all on all pillars of the project, different in each municipality, based also on their needs and abilities. But above all, we have lots of fun together. And I really look forward to deliver 2 more workshops as soon as it's possible again. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Rita, thank you so much for this overview. It's really impressive to see what has been achieved so far already. And when I see the images with so many people involved, I think this makes this project so special. And also, I'm happy to see that there is a real collaboration between the Netherlands and Japan. So I think this is a real mutual project, what we all do together. Rita, thank you so much. I will come back to you at a later stage because there I have another request for you. So I see you a couple of minutes later. Thank you, Rita, so far. And ladies and gentlemen, Rita just mentioned also the Japan Sport Council, JSC, and on behalf of the Dutch NOC, I would like to thank the JSC for their strong commitment in this project. There have been a real intermediate and a real liaison between the NOC in the Netherlands and the municipalities in Japan. So I think without JSC and Jun Kubota, this project hadn't been a success like it has been. So JSC, thank you so much. Talking about municipalities, we have asked the mayors of the 3 municipalities to give us a brief feedback on how they look at the Game Changer project. So I would say let's have a look at the video of the 3 mayors.
2017年の本プロジェクト承認以来、リタさんのような障害者スポーツの指導に長けた方、そしてまた大勢のパラアスリートにも足立区にお越しいただいて、大勢の子どもたちと親しく交流をいただきました。
in our city, Adachi, and gave them courage and very strong motivation to move on. Through this project, which started in 2017, we were able to invite to the city of Edogawa top athletes and coaches from Netherlands, one of the leading nations of para sports, to exchange friendship with our citizens. It was a priceless opportunity for us to learn, as you have enlightened us on the insight of how specifically we can provide inclusive environment for everyone to enjoy sports. Hello. My most sincere gratitude to people of Netherlands for sending very experienced para athletes and para sports experts with steps of knowledge to the city of Nishitokyo, my city. We had opportunity of exchanging friendship and we were enlightened on the virtue of inclusiveness, where people with diversified range of character live together in harmony in a community and contributes to the community on their own way, stretching us far beyond conventional view of disability. So thank you very much again.
We are all game changers, and it's great to see that the municipalities are committed to the project on all different levels, from the mayor to the people on the ground, on the field, who work so intensively on this project. And talking about these people on the ground, in the field, on the field working for the Game Changer project, I now would like to have a short chat with 3 of them from the 3 different municipalities. And I would like to start with Marie HARA. Konnichiwa, Ms. HARA. Ms. HARA,
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Ms. HARA, you work at the Mizuno Sports Service, and you are one of the sports concierges at Edogawa City. Ms. HARA, please could you explain what a sports concierge is exactly?
Sure. sports service point is the model for us to establish sport controls to support and consultation service at the 7 points in Adachi City. So in other words, sport controls is the coordinator because there are many people with impairment from the young children to the elderly people. So anyone can feel free to come back to us to get the advice from our sports controls at the Edogawa Gymnasium and one of the sports controls to provide such services. Those who come to us for advice concern their fitness level as well as the health situation, and therefore they need more expertise to identify most suitable level of sports. In such a case, OT and PT are available to give them the more personalized service and advice.
What someone with an impairment can
ありがとうござい
expect?
ます。
Could you explain what someone with an impairment expect when he or she comes to you, to the sport concierge? How can you help him or her?
Thank you very much for that question. In Edogawa City, we have declared that with the sports controls and therefore we can create the distance gap between the person with the impairment and person with the anti-impairment. Those who have not experienced sports or because of the impairment, some people are reluctant to enjoying the play, and there are some people who have never experienced playing the sports. There are many types of people. However, one thing in common is that everyone has an interest in playing the sport. However, some of them are not confident in enjoying the sport, and some others are not so sure whether or not they can follow other colleagues. However, when we meet them to have the consultation service, and then we always find some way out. And therefore, when they leave our sports control to the office, everyone gets big smile. So their concerns are vague, and their concerns have always some solutions, and we can deal of that hope. And therefore, that should be the very big expectation for that service we can deliver to them.
Working as a sports concierge influenced you personally? Has it changed your view on people with an impairment?
Well, yes. Personally speaking, by participating in this project, I have had really rich and wide experiences, and I have seen many transformations happened in myself. For example, just recently, at the window of Edogawa City, there is a person coming to the office who is on the electronic powered wheelchair. That person is female, and in the past, this female tried to get the advice for sports. However, back then, it's very difficult for her to find a good environment where she could enjoy the sports. However, we could refer some of the projects where she could enjoy sports. And then we escorted her to the local gymnasium, and she said that she'd never known that such a good, excellent gymnasium was available. And she said she should have come to us earlier. And then this gymnasium has given her the very vivid image how she could enjoy the sports in such a wonderful facility. That smile sticks to me.
Perfect. So you personally have changed the life of someone. I think that sounds really great. Thank you so much. Thank you. I would now like to switch from Edogawa City to Nishitokyo City. Konnichiwa, Ms. ANEMATSU. Ms. ANEMATSU, you are a club manager of the Nishihara Sports Club in Nishitokyo. And Nishihara Sports Club is a club where all kinds of people from young to old can come together and enjoy sport. Please tell us what kind of activities do you have at the Nishihara Sports Club, and are there also activities for people with an impairment?
Okay. So, yeah. So from very young kid to elderly. So elderly people can enjoy playing table tennis. So again, very young children, from very young children to, so I mean about 30% of the members are coming members are elderly people. Unfortunately, we have a group called Sakura no Sono who helps people with disability, so a social welfare organization of Nishitokyo City, and we are trying to invite people with disability, but they have their own instructor, and they are working on a lighter task. So there are about 40-50 people who are working on a light task, people with disability. We're trying to invite these people with disability. And so we invite them to play bocce, for instance, in our club. But we are having a little bit of a difficulty. They are a little bit hesitating. So we haven't yet, yes, we have tried to invite them. And so like Wednesday afternoon, so they come over. And our sports club. So in August, in special events, so people with disability comes to our canteen and actually prepares some of the food served in the canteen. And so we do have exchange with people with disability.
So much. So it seems that it's not only sport you're doing together, but also other activities at the club doing together. That's great. Ms. ANEMATSU, what has changed for your club since you were joining the Game Changer project?
Okay. So my personal experience. So diversification or inclusion. So I've been attending workshop on diversity inclusion, trying to learn. And we had people come over to our club. And for instance, on February 5th, it was a very cold day. They gathered, we did a workshop. We were able to change people's mindset. So, I mean, many different people, different sorts of people can work together. And they began to realize that. And they now learned that that's what it's about, to be inclusive society. And I think people would be more proactive. So I guess I'll have to be proactive as well to reach out to people with disability. That's the change in the mindset, I guess, that was brought to us.
Talking about mindset, I was wondering, how have people experienced playing sports together with people with and without impairment? How did they experience this?
So our club hasn't gotten that far yet, unfortunately. So in March, so we had invited elderly people and people with disability through the Nishitokyo City communication route. So we had like a group of 68 people working 4 times a month. So because of the COVID-19 situation, so yeah, we formed a group of 68, not too large group, to work on sports. And some of the people, so I mean, who were away from sports because of the physical condition, came back because of this event. So we had a walking session, a jogging session, and also some people, the elderly people, who are not yet in the nursing care. So some of the nursing caretakers helped us. So in March, we had attendance at about 100, more than 100 people attend. And it was a very good timing. And we have a photo from the event. So actually, we used your country color, the color of orange, in this event. People had very much fun in this event. So this was an event for elderly people above the age of 60, but we want to do this for many different types of people, and we need to continue this type of initiatives.
Thank you so much for this explanation, and also thank you for wearing orange at this event. And I'm happy to see that it's not only about talking, but really doing things, being active, and bringing people with and without impairments together. Perfect, that sounds great. Thank you so much. Before I'm gonna switch to Adachi-ku and Mr. SAKATA, I would like to explain a bit about the special Cruyff courts. The Dutch Johan Cruyff Foundation is very well known for their special Cruyff courts. And these Cruyff courts are courts where children with an impairment can practice sport in a safe environment, and where they also can meet other children. And in 2019, the Cruyff Foundation approached the Dutch NOC and asked them, or told them, we would like to set up a special Cruyff court in Tokyo. Can you help us to find a suitable partner who would like to have a Cruyff court in their neighborhood? And Adachi City was immediately raising its hands and saying, yes, we want to do this, and we would like to set up a special Cruyff court on our premises. And the rest was history, because in November last year, the special Cruyff court was launched. And so now I come back to Mr. SAKATA. Good afternoon, good to see you. Mr. SAKATA, you are the director of the Lifelong Learning Support Division of Adachi-ku, and you are responsible for the sports concierge, but also you were responsible for setting up the special Cruyff court. Mr. SAKATA, why has Adachi City decided to build a Cruyff court on its premises?
Thank you very much for that question. Because now we share the same feeling with your project of Game Changer project. With that impairment, everyone has a right to enjoy sports. Everyone has a right to enjoy the sport, because that mindset is very inspiring for us. That's why we determined to establish this special court for our citizens.
And what kind of activities are organized on the special Cruyff court?
First of all, in weekdays, people with impairments, there are special organizations and the occupational training organizations, and therefore we have invited the instructor from the professional football team, Yomiuri Belgi, and then professional soccer members can provide the specific training, for example, targeting or sports on the wheelchair or mid-range talk ball. So these are the major activities and sports everyone can enjoy. And then weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, we have invited local children as well as the people with impairment. And then everyone can enjoy the ball playing and some games on this very special Cruyff court. So I believe that this would be the good entrance for everyone to feel how it will look like in this symbiotic society. And then there are professional teams who promote the sports for the people with impairment, especially for some sports. There are many professionals who are very happy to provide the support.
That sounds great. So there is a broad choice of activities for people with and without an impairment at the court. That sounds very interesting. I was wondering, how has the community responded to a special Cruyff court in their neighborhood? Are they using it a lot?
Right. This was opened in November. Since then, because this is a beautiful court, wonderful court, and therefore children in neighbors got together to see what happened in their neighbors, and they found sports gears such as balls and the sticks, and they are available in renting, and the officers of the court comes to the lecturers and instructors, and therefore there is a very interesting environment for children, not only for the children. The teachers in the neighboring school have brought their children and pupils. In addition to that, elderly people living nearby also got together, meaning that a multi-generation population can enjoy the sports and this special Cruyff court.
Mr. SAKATA, I hear you quite often saying enjoying sport. I think this is very important for everyone who wants to practice sport. So thank you very much for your contribution, and also the two other guests, thank you very much for your contribution today, but also for your endless efforts and commitment in the last years for this project. I think you all have done a great job, and I would say keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Rita van Driel already said the project is about knowledge exchange and inspiration. And the inspiration part of the Game Changer project comes from the Paralympic athletes. Because Paralympic athletes, they are real role models. They show us that nothing is impossible and that there are no real limits. Various Paralympic Team NL athletes have been to Tokyo for the Game Changer project already, and they all inspired people over there. But there are also a lot of Japanese Paralympic athletes who are doing, which are doing the same. And one of them is Erika HANAOKA. Erika is a Japanese Paralympic swimmer, and she started para-swimming in 2017. And since then, she became Japanese swimming champion quite a lot of times, and in March 2021, she even set a new Japanese record in the 50 meters backstroke. And her big goal is to participate in the Paris Games 3 years from now. Please watch a short video from Erika HANAOKA.
競技活動を行っていく中で大きな大会に出場する機会も増えていき、その中でさまざまな人との出会いがありました。そうした中で人とのつながりも増えていき、より広い視野を
I was able to connect to more people, and that widened my vision, my field of view. Especially in Paralympic, parasports, there are people with many different types of disability. They face their disability, and they enjoy and endeavor in their sports. And I was able to learn how important it is to face yourself, face your disability, and endeavor. I mean, regardless of whether you have disability or not. And also, it's a very uplifting emotion for me to move my body. I have a disability, so I have to, I live in a limited space on a wheelchair. I mean, my movement is limited to an extent because of the wheelchair. But when I'm swimming, I mean, a pool is very large. I can freely swim, move my body. I really feel, released, that my heart and mind are released. And I mean, having a disability places limitation on your life. But by playing sports, you can have have new discoveries in your life. And of course, it helps you raise your fitness, physical capability. So it's always good to do exercise, play sports. And even if you have disability, you can be creative to challenge many different sports. I mean, I would like all of you to take up a challenge of playing sports.
This was a great video from Erika HANAOKA, and it's so interesting to hear her say that there are some limits, but through sport, in the end, there are no real limits, actually. Great video. Well, inspirational athletes, we heard one from Japan right now, but there are also inspirational athletes here in the Netherlands, and one of them is joining me today. It's Gert-Jan SCHEP. I just welcomed you, and once again, welcome to the studio. Gert-Jan, you are a Paralympic athlete. You competed at the Paralympic Games in Athens already as a swimmer, and after that you swam numerous European and world records. And in 2016 you switched to athletics, and you were well on the way to go to Paris to qualify for Tokyo. To Tokyo, but unfortunately you get injured, so you weren't able to take part at the Paralympics this time. First of all, how are you doing? How is your injury?
Yes, it goes with small steps. So it's a long way to go, but as I always say, never ever give up. So I'm working hard to do it.
Perfect. Never give up. And the Paris Games are 3 years from now, so there is still some time for you. That sounds good. Gert-Jan, you were one of the Team NL Paralympic athletes who took part in the Game Changer project already, and you've been to Tokyo already. So how has it been to be part of the Game Changer project?
Yeah, for me it was the chance of a lifetime to work at such an important project. So it was fantastic.
And what made it so fantastic? What impressed you so much?
The warm welcome of all the people, and also the willingness to learn and to put that in action. That was really great to see. And
I heard you also received a flag from one of the municipalities, or the children signing it. Can you tell a bit about that?
Yes, it was quite emotional, because that was at the point that because of my injury, Tokyo wasn't it for me. And then I received the flag, so it was a very emotional moment. You'll see all those messages from all the children, all the people that I've met during the project. So yeah, I kept it at a safe place at home, because it's something I never forget.
That sounds great. And I mean, Gerard, you talked about giving something back to the people in Japan, but this sounds like the Japan children are giving something back to you.
Yes, it worked both ways. We're all learning from each other, and at so much level. So it was really, what I said, the chance of a lifetime that I never forget.
Great, that sounds good. Gert-Jan, I'm sure there are people with an impairment watching right now this conference, and probably some of them are thinking, well, I would also like to start practicing sport. What would you tell them?
Now, the sport can help you in your daily life. So, and if you start with it, do it with small steps. Choose something that you like to do, and then work to it. And I hope you met a group of people that will help you, will work with you, and do it step by step, and enjoy it as much as you can, because that's the most important. To do it together with a big smile.
having fun. And what you're saying is, do it with small steps, but do it.
Do it.
Don't stay at home, but do it.
No.
Just practice.
Indeed, it's maybe hard to set the first step, but it's the important step. And then keep on going.
That's good. That's perfect, brilliant advice. Gert-Jan, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. And I have been in Tokyo when you were there for your workshop too, and I saw you, and you really did a great job. So thank you very much once again. At this point, I also would like to mention that there were also 4 other Paralympic athletes who have been to Tokyo already and who contributed immensely to the success of the Game Changer project. And I briefly want to name them. It was Kelly van Zoon, Marleen van Gansewinkel, Bo Kramer, and Mariska Beyer. And all of them are in Rio right now, and I think we all wish them good luck for their competition, for their events, and I hope they will come back with one or more medals. Now to something completely different. Now we're going to talk about research, because the Leiden Asia Center, an institute that generates academic knowledge of modern East Asia, they approached us already in the beginning of the project, and they said that they would like to do research on this project and to see how the project developed in Japan. And today, Anoma van der Veere, the researcher of the Leiden Asia Center who did research on the project, he's here, or actually there in Tokyo in the studio. And I would like to ask Anoma to give us a short overview of the results of your research so far. Anoma, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your warm welcome, Herbert. Well, it's been 4.5 years, so it's very hard to summarize all of the results. And I think Rita did a marvelous job at that. So I'm just going to skip right into some of the things I found in my fieldwork. And the first big difference that I saw is the difference between how disability was viewed by Dutch and by Japanese policymakers. While Dutch policymakers and the Dutch participants in the project saw disability as something autonomous, that people sorry, let me apologize. Let me rephrase that a little bit. That people with disabilities were more autonomous. In contrast, the people in Japan tried to create a more safe environment, a secure environment in which risks had to be reduced. To give you an example, when Dutch policymakers and the Dutch coaches came to Japan, one of the things they did was they changed the rules of the game while playing the game. And in contrast, we saw that the Japanese teachers explained the rules beforehand. Before any game took place, they wanted to know what was going to happen, at what time it was going to happen. And they needed everyone to know that this was going to happen in this way. And this was quite a contrast. And I think one of the main difficulties in the Game Changer project was finding a good middle ground. Finding a middle ground that both the Dutch and the Japanese side could work with together towards broader access to disability sports for people in the local communities. And I think that the project has been quite successful in doing so. It has been a gradual process. It's been a difficult process, but I do think that we are headed in the right direction. Of course, there's a lot more work to be done, and I hope that everyone will keep working at it. But one of the things that I saw, I don't know if there's images that I can show. Yeah, so in the first picture, we see a judo class in the Netherlands, and you can see that the children are quite autonomous. They're playing by themselves. They're doing the judo by themselves. While on the right side, we see a sports workshop in Nishitokyo City, in which each child is basically accompanied by a teacher or a sports leader, someone to act as a proxy. In contrast to what we see later in the project, is if we could move to the next slide, is we see everyone together. So this is something that is quite interesting. We see different people from different departments during a single workshop, acting together, playing together, doing a single sport. And this is, I think, one of the middle grounds that this project has found. And if I can be so blunt, I actually think that this is one of the most important legacies that this project has given us. But I find it important here to give a disclaimer, is that in 1964, we already saw that after the Paralympics ended, the momentum to promote disability sports also kind of dissipated. And for me as a scholar, but also for me as a person, I find it very important to urge the policymakers who are involved and everyone who is involved, the athletes, the organizers, to just push that little bit more, to push forward after the Paralympics end and after the movement in Japan has come to a close, after the Paralympic flame is extinguished, there should still be a Paralympic spirit that present in Japan. Thank you.
Anoma, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have heard and seen about your research already quite a lot, and I know that we could organize a whole conference only about your research, and probably we will do this at a later stage. But thank you so much for right now to giving us a wrap up on it. And what I've heard was to find a middle way between the Dutch approach and the Japanese approach. And I think this is something which could help us all to improve para sport even further. We also saw a picture, right? Anoma showed us a picture of people playing together korfball. And this brings me to another aspect, that not only Dutch athletes were joining the Game Changer project, but that there also were Dutch experts besides Rita who were part of the Game Changer project. And I would like to name two of them, which is Dolf Nijkerk, who is very much involved in korfball here in the Netherlands. He joined several workshops in Tokyo, and also Marjolein de Boer, who did a lot in the workshops in Tokyo already. So a big thank you to them also. And now I would like to come back to one of our biggest experts, which is Rita van Driel. Rita, can you come back? Yes, you are still at your hotel room. Rita, before we're going to start the roundtable discussion, we have seen and heard a lot already. Is there something which surprised you or something which made you happy, what you have heard already?
Well, all the things been said, especially from the people from Tokyo, makes me really smile, but also feel really proud. I see and we know who have been there, and we have seen the changes and also the difficulties to find this middle ground. But it's great to hear, for example, Marie telling about her job or what she's doing now. And I really remember how difficult it was in the beginning to do this and how we could support her in her daily work, what she's doing. So it makes me really proud. And I also recognize what Anoma is saying, that we have done a lot. We already have achieved a lot, but there is still so much to do. And I think it's really important to find a way how we can keep the small flame burning to bring this forward, because it's as I see in the Netherlands how much time it took to get where we are now. For example, to build this structure, it took us 15 years. So I think it's worth to keep this going and find a way how to do that.
Rita, thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, you mentioned keep the fire or the flame burning. And I know that in the 3 municipalities, the flame is burning right now and quite vividly. And you're absolutely right. We all have to see how we can continue this flame also after the flame of the Paralympic Games have vanished. Rita, I would like to ask you to have round table discussion, which is quite difficult from a hotel room and the residents at the embassy. But still, I would like to ask you to have a round table discussion with 3 senior practitioners from the municipalities, people where you have worked quite intensively in the last 4 years. and with whom you have managed to make the project in Tokyo a success. So I would like to ask you to lead this discussion with the two gentlemen and one lady at the embassy. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hello, my friends from Tokyo. It's really a pity that I cannot be with you, but I really look forward to chat with you anyway. Let me start with Masuta. You have been actively involved in the project really from the beginning, and I would like to ask you, what is your personal highlight from the past years? I told you what my highlight was, bringing the people with impairments together in the project. But what I'm curious to hear, what was your highlight so far?
At the city of Adachi, we took Game Changer project. When we started this project up, we focused on regional sports and we focused on school. So those are the two approaches in a sense. Regional sports, local sports. Through the Game Changer project, we had sports. We continue to learn from Sports Service Point of Netherlands, and September we set up Adachi Sports Concierge, which is a concierge for disabled people when they want to play sports. And when we launched this service, we divided City of Adachi into 6 districts. We have local sports meeting. We have all the leaders and coaches. And also we have the organization of people with disability. And people who are enjoying sports, some of the people with disability who's playing sports. We have all gathered these people to this organization, and we raised issues, local issues and potential solutions. So we led this discussion, local projects, and a lot of people has become stakeholders, and we are able to build connection with the stakeholders. And that's one of the big achievement of our city, a city of achievement. Now, our approach through school, we had invited top athletes from Netherlands, so that children can learn that regardless of whether you have disability or not, and endeavoring, striving could help you overcome the disability to play sports, to excel in sports. And also we had exchange with people with special, who is in need of special aid, disabled people, disabled children. And so we were able to learn a lot from Netherlands. And our children could learn a lot. And I want our children in Adachi City to be role model of other students in other municipalities.
Yes, Masuta, that is a great achievement as a city. But what is your personal highlight, where you got these goosebumps when you think about it?
Personally, so my perception on people with disability. So I was, instead of focusing on what they cannot do, I started focusing on what they can do, what they are capable of doing. And I ensured that I have empathy over what they can do. And that's the biggest mindset change in my mindset, personal mindset.
Thank you. That's a great one. Okay, Mika, you have been almost always the only women beside me. So, and you were the one that also was in the Netherlands once. When was it? 2019. So what have you learned in the Netherlands? What you could really, what impressed you? What was your personal highlight from your visit?
Okay. So I had an honor of visiting your country, Netherlands. And I met people who are managing, operating the sports clubs in Netherlands, and the people who are attending these clubs, and people who are using Sports Service Point, people who are supporting the Sports Service Point. So I was able to speak with many different stakeholders of different fields. And what I remember, one thing I remember very strongly is, so, I mean, they don't have perception of people, or whether people have disability or doesn't have a disability. They don't draw the line there. So they see that everyone's living together. So anyone in the society, they would go in and help them how they can start playing sports. And they didn't have a line between people with disability and people without disability. And I wanted to take this back to my city of Nishitokyo. And so I thought it's very important to find a key person and build network of these key persons in order for us to do that.
Well, that's great. That's great. Really, that is, you took really the pinnacle of what we have done in the Netherlands. So I really am happy to hear what you have done with it as well. Thank you. Yusuke, you have been around also from the very beginning, I would say, but now in a different role. What was something that you really picked up during the period, the project time?
Okay. So I recall many different scenes and experiences. So sports service point in Netherlands, we wanted to set a model and wanted to start the project of our own. And so we had a very on-the-job type training. So Hara-san from earlier spoke, Ms. Hara. She attended this training as well. And in that training, so we learned the mission, significance of sports and insights, know-hows. So be create. So I was able to learn and actually build the philosophy of being creative. So I had opportunity of meeting top athletes in Netherlands, so para athletes and people who are engaged in para sports. So they were directly engaged with the para athletes, were I guess directly engaged with the para sports stakeholders. That's memorable. So kids in wheelchair who were doing track and field, they were running was one of the top Paralympic athletes. They had so much fun. That's a very strong memory. And I guess that's the role model for these children.
Thank you. Lots to you have learned and you have experienced. Great. And now thinking about, we have another, hopefully, COVID allows us to have another 2 workshops to go. I'm curious to hear from the 3 of you, what you want to achieve the next 6 months when we have the workshop. What is for you the most important thing that we need to do? Mika, can I start with you?
Okay. So the workshops so far. So shared with some of the concepts of inclusive society, the leading edge concept from Netherlands, we are able to learn. And we have, yes, invited a lot of the stakeholders of sports. And again, so I wanted to build a network. And I want to spend the next 6 months really building a strong network of people concerned.
That's really good, because the network will support you in the next steps for the future as well. Thank you. Masuta, what is most important for Adachi-ku to achieve in the next 6 months?
Adachi has Adachi Sports Concierge, and we have special life court, which we have inaugurated last year. But we are just at the starting point. We have just started the journey. Now, it's a little bit difficult for us to do an outreach to people with disability because of COVID-19 pandemic, unfortunately. However, we want to do a stakeholders meeting, regional sports meeting, because we are able to build this level of network. And we thank you because it was through our project with Netherlands, we were able to build this network. So we want to start inviting people from Netherlands, meeting stakeholders, so that we can further promote, I guess, inclusive society in our local community. And also school children. I mean, they are so influenced by their encounter with para athletes from Netherlands, and they are very much looking forward to meeting your athletes as well. So we are, yes, we would.
Yeah, thank you. And let's hope that we can bring some gold medal winners from Tokyo then in the next workshops. That would be really fantastic. And then Yusuke, what is the next step for Edogawa-ku the next months?
Okay, so in the remaining month, so we would like to have a profound understanding on what we can do with preschool children with disability. We do have, a leading edge, a case study from Netherlands. There are a lot of stakeholders who are taking up this challenge in the country as well. So yeah, we would like your people to share that, and we would like to, yes, strive to meet our goal. And I guess, if the COVID-19 allows us, yes, we would like to invite yes, athletes from Netherlands. So if we can set up an opportunity, first person, exchange between your athletes and our people, children.
Thank you. And now my final question is, imagine that one of the other cities of Tokyo wants to start a project like this. What would be your advice as the first step to take to start with? Masuta, what is your advice?
Okay. So since the beginning of the project, we had production planning, and also we have an organization. So we had a specialized organization for this project. We have education committee. So we had a cross-functional teamwork to drive this project. That's why we are able to see Adachi Sports Controls, one of the major achievements of our endeavor. So again, the effort needs to be cross-functional, and you have to have the teamwork between different smaller municipality in your ward or city.
So the different, different sport and welfare education, and build a team to start with. Okay, and Mika, what would be your advice?
Okay, so for city of Nishitokyo, so the concept of using sports as a tool was, I guess that's the first time we had took up this concept, and we saw athletes coming over from Netherlands, experts coming from Netherlands, and we had a first-hand exchange between them and the children in our city. We had a direct conversation, and that really helped change the mindset of our children. And when we do drive these projects, it's not just the knowledge or insight that needs to be communicated. We need to, pass on inspiration so that we can change the mindset, perception of people. And this inspiration really helps drive people to change their perception or mindset.
Interaction between people with and without impairments, and especially at a young age, will help to change the mindset. That's a good one. And then finally, Yusuke, what is your advice?
Okay. So, first thing you need to do is, just do it. So that's my, I guess, my impression from the project, looking back on my early days. To be more specific, it doesn't have to be sports. I mean, you have to involve as many stakeholders as possible. You need to involve as many stakeholders. Para sports, para athletes, we can learn from them. And when we need to look into accessible sports environment to allow access to sports by everyone, we need to reflect that on the local policy. And it's a challenges to be taken up by local policymakers. And we need to really involve as many different stakeholders as possible.
Very good advice too. And you have learned from the Dutch approach, just do it and be creative. So I really look forward, thank you for the conversation. I really look forward to catch up with you in person with a good dinner and some fun, and to see how we move on with the project. And I cannot wait to come back to do a workshop within your municipality. So thank you, Mika. Thank you, Masuta, and thank you, Yasuke, for the conversation. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Also, a big thank you here from the Netherlands, from Papendal, to all four of you. Very interesting to hear how your thoughts are about the Game Changer project, and especially about the fact that this project should be continued also after the Paralympic Games, also after the last workshop next year in March. I think we all have to continue in one way or another with this project. And what I also see, and I'm happy to see this, is that now after 3-4 years, there's a really friendship between the Dutch and the Japanese partners. It's more than only working together on a project, but it's also on the personal level that there's really partnership and really friendship. And I think this is also priceless, actually, what we have achieved all together. So once again, for all four of you, before I gonna step to the very last part of this conference, I just want to mention the Embassy of the Netherlands in Japan, because it's not only that one of the two studios is at the embassy, but it's also that the embassy itself has supported this project in a very special way. From the first day on, they really embraced this project, and their commitment and contribution to this project was and is still very special. So on behalf of the Dutch NOC, a big thank you to the Embassy of the Netherlands in Tokyo. So once again, thank you very much. As I said, now, ladies and gentlemen, we almost reached the end of this conference, and there's one last guest I would like to have in this conference, and this is Esther Vergeer. Esther Vergeer, I can see you already. Hi there. Esther, you are in the athletes village right now, because you are chef de mission of the Paralympic Team NL, and you are a former wheelchair tennis athlete too. You have won 7 gold medals already, and now you're sharing your expertise and experience with the current Team NL athletes. So once again, Esther, welcome. And
good afternoon, or good morning, or good afternoon.
Yeah, morning in the Netherlands and afternoon in Japan. Esther, of course, we have to ask you one question as a chef de mission. How is the preparation going of the Team NL?
Well, I can say that everything up until now is going very well. We have been installed in the village. I've been here for a week now, and actually since yesterday, the athletes come in. So we have swimming now, and we have the basketball athletes, tennis. So they're slowly getting, started to get in here. And I must say that is very welcome, because now it really starts to be vibrant, and this is what it's about. So seeing those faces, sometimes very a lot of tension, a lot of expectation, of course, a lot of nerves. Some athletes are here for the first time. Some of them have already played 7 Paralympics in their lives, so they're experienced. And the mix of athletes is just a wonderful feeling. And I get excited as well, and I'm not even playing. So it's all good, yeah.
So this is also a new experience for you also, now that you're chef de mission. Esther, 5 days from now, there will be the opening ceremony of the Paralympic Games. What do you think will the impact of the Paralympic Games for the people in Japan?
Well, I hope, and I'm not sure whether that is going to happen, yes or no, but I hope the impact will be that the impression, or the how do you say, the lives of people with disabilities in Japan will maybe get a little bit easier, that it gets more normal that you have a disability and that you're just part of society. That the vision of Japanese people towards people with disabilities is more open, maybe. That the world and also Japan can see what people with disabilities are able and capable of doing, instead of all the things that they may not be able to do. That they are very independent. That they can perform at a level that a lot of people cannot imagine of playing sports at. So yeah, I think the impact can be huge, and especially for countries like Japan, where it's maybe not a normal thing that people with disability are integrated into society. And so I hope this is a positive event which will have a long-term impact, and I hope that is going to happen. And you never know for sure, but the cities and the countries that the Paralympic Games have been organized in, you see that there is a mindset switch. And I've heard the word mindset before in this conference, and I think that's really important, that this mindset changes, not only in Japan but worldwide.
Whoa, Esther, this means that the Paralympic Games are much, much more than only a couple of days of competition. This really have a great influence on society and on people with an impairment. I think, this makes these games very special, I guess.
And I guess, sorry, but maybe to add a little bit, but I think it can be, or it can have a huge impact on people that are not very introduced with disabilities in life at this moment, so people without disabilities, but it can also impact, of course, the lives of little kids with disabilities, to see opportunities and to see chances and to see what's possible. So I think in both worlds, if you can speak of separate worlds, but the impact can be huge, and not only in sports, but also in society, in the working place, in schools. And I think the IPC, the International Paralympic Committee, has done great work, and you see that the exposure and the broadcasters worldwide show more and more disability sports, and so I think a lot more people than before get introduced with this, and I think it's important that people see it, because once you see it, you get, and I don't know if this is the right word in this context, but you get infected with disability sports, and you just embrace it and love it, and become fan. And I think that's an important thing.
I'm happy to hear that there is also a positive side of getting infected. So one last question, and a more general question. What do you think, how important is sport, or how important can be sport for people with an impairment?
life-changing. Yeah, so this is the impact that it can be. I mean, I've experienced it myself. I was 8 years old when I became paralyzed. And of course, at that moment, life falls down. You have no idea what life is going to bring. And I think because I was able to play sports, I was able to rebuild my life. And I think because of sports, I became stronger as a human being, mentally stronger, physically stronger. And I can say that I am a person full of confidence just because I was able to play sports. So the impact can be big. And of course, with this Game Changer project, which just goes to, it goes to young kids and it goes to schools, and it introduces top athletes with, young kids. And I think that is important to make that mix and start with people of a young age. And I think the reality for those persons, for those people, for those young kids, will become, hopefully, that it's normal to have people with disability around. I think, like I said, it's life-changing for the athletes themselves if they are able to play sports, but it also could be life-changing for the people involved in disability sports, because you just become a richer person.
Esther, thank you so much. Becoming a richer person. I think this is something we all should achieve. Thank you so much, and good luck for you as chef de mission, but also, or especially for the Team NL athletes at these Paralympic Games. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to the end of this conference, and I think you all have heard a lot about the Game Changer project. Probably you have heard more than you can remember, but don't worry, because we have made a small booklet of this Game Changer project with even more information on the project than you have heard today, and there will be a link in the chat menu where you can download this booklet. And it's my honor to give the very first booklet of the Game Changer project to the initiator and advocate of social projects at the Dutch NOC. This is Gerard. Gerard, thank you so much for all your work for the Game Changer project and for pushing us all further and making this possible.
Thank you so much. And let's go on. First the Paralympic Games, and then we go on to Paris. And hope you see they're all in a new project. Thank you so much, Herbert.
Let's hope so. Thank you so much, Gert. And then a big thank you to all guests today who have contributed to this conference. I would like to thank you once again very much. And I have a very small present for you, which is Miffy with the Team NL shirt on. I know that some of these Miffys are already at the embassy, so you will receive them today. And I will give the first one to Gert-Jan, our guest and Paralympic athlete here at the studio. Gert-Jan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Herbert.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this Game Changer conference. I would like to thank everybody for his contribution, and I also like to thank all the viewers and listeners today to follow this conference. And good evening to everyone in Japan and a good day to everyone in the Netherlands. Goodbye. Thank you so much.